All right, today we're going to break down a really powerful logical argument from the Quran, and it's all about a simple question. Where does true guidance really come from? What's so cool about this is that the whole case is built on a principle you already see at work, like all around you, every single day. So let's get into it.
Okay, so the entire argument is built on this really simple foundational principle about purpose and creation.
I mean, just think about it. Look around you right now. The phone in your hand, the chair you're sitting on, heck, even the cup you drink your coffee from. None of that stuff was made by accident, right? Every single thing was built for a reason, with a very specific purpose in mind. A manufacturer doesn't just toss a bunch of parts together and hope it works out. No way. First, they figure out what the thing is for. What's its purpose? Then, and only then, do they build it. And after that, they give you the instructions, the user manual, so you know how to use it properly. The key takeaway here is simple. The purpose always comes before the creation.
And this is where it gets really interesting. The argument takes this exact same logic, the one we instinctively understand for a simple toaster, and applies it to the biggest scale imaginable: us, humanity, and the entire universe. I mean, think about it. If the maker is the one who defines the purpose and provides the manual for our machine, why on earth would it be any different for our own existence?
So this entire line of thinking leads to this one central, decisive question. It's a question the Quran poses directly to anyone who might be tempted to look for guidance somewhere, well, somewhere other than the Creator. And the verse asks, point blank, are there any of your partners who guides to the truth? Basically, can any of these other things you might look up to, anything or anyone, really guide you to what's true? It's a challenge, and it's asking for a logical answer based on that whole maker's principle we just covered. All right, so how does the text answer its own question? Well, it goes right back to that same exact logic we started with, the logic of creation. The answer is pretty definitive. It says, Allah guides to the truth. And the reason is simple. You just can't separate guidance from creation. The one who designed the whole system, the one who defined the purpose, that's the only one who can logically provide the user manual for how it all works. And get this isn't some new idea that just popped up. Not at all. The argument points out that this has been the same consistent logical thread that prophets have been talking about throughout history. Take Prophet Abraham. He makes the link crystal clear. He says, "He who created me is the one who guides me." Now notice the wording there. It's so precise. He doesn't say, "He created me and he also guides me." He says, "The one who created me is the one who guides me." The creation itself is the very reason for the guidance. They're totally connected. And we see the exact same idea coming from Prophet Moses. He says, our Lord is the one who gave each thing its form and then guided it. See that sequence? First comes the creation, giving everything its unique form and function. And then, what naturally follows? The guidance to fulfill that function. Okay, so we've established the argument for why the Creator is the guide. But what about the alternatives? Let's flip the coin over and look at these so-called partners, the people might turn to for guidance instead. And when you put them side by side, the contrast is, wow, it's really stark. On one side, you've got the Creator, who designs the purpose and provides the manual. But on the other side, you have these partners who, the text says, don't even know their own purpose. They can't offer a real methodology because they themselves are in need of guidance. They're not the source, they're also part of the creation. So you're probably wondering, who or what exactly are these partners we're talking about? Well, the Quran gives a bunch of examples of things that people historically have taken as sources of guidance instead of the Creator. And the list is pretty broad, actually. It includes everything from revered beings, like angels and prophets, to these huge celestial bodies, like the sun and the moon, stars, and even things like trees and stones. The point is, the logic is meant to apply across the board, to anything and everything that is created. So, after laying all this out, the verse just brings it all to a head with a really sharp, logical question. It asks, is the one who actually guides to the truth more worthy of being followed, or the one who can't even find its own way unless it is guided? I mean, who would you rather trust for directions? And here's a really cool linguistic detail. To hammer this point home, the Quran uses a very specific and actually pretty unique word here, la yahtidi. Now, this doesn't just mean something doesn't guide. The word itself implies a total inability, like something that is fundamentally lost and helpless, completely unable to find its own way, let alone show the way to anyone else. And this all builds up to the powerful conclusion of the verse. It shifts gears from this logical explanation to a direct and almost shocked address to you, the listener. So what is wrong with you? How do you judge? Now you have to understand, this isn't just a casual question. It's more like an exclamation of total disbelief. It's like seeing someone do something that makes absolutely no sense and just saying, "What are you thinking? How could you possibly arrive at that conclusion?" So the text frames this choice as something so fundamentally illogical that it shouldn't even happen. It's presented as an act that's as unnatural and against reason as, say, someone intentionally harming their own parents. It's a choice that just doesn't compute with our basic sound judgment. And that's really the final thought this whole argument leaves us with. It takes us all the way from the simple purpose of a man-made object to the ultimate purpose of our existence. And it leaves us with this one big question to reflect on. If the creator of a thing is the only true guide to its purpose, what does that imply for our own?